This couple murdered the first twins they conceived in the course of their courtship. But the mystery twins returned to them and the unbelievable began to unveil. This is how it all began. In a small town, not too different from any other, there lived two lovers whose story began like any other love story. It was a tale of young love, blossoming in the corridors of a secondary school, and growing stronger as they journeyed through university. Their names were Jane and Mark. Jane and Mark were inseparable. From the innocent days of secondary school to the challenges of university life, they stood by each other, their bond only growing stronger. They were young, carefree, and deeply in love. But as their relationship deepened, so did their responsibilities. It was during their final year of university that Jane discovered she was pregnant. Not with one child, but with twins. The news was overwhelming. They were both young, unprepared, and terrified of the future. The thought of raising children while still in school seemed impossible to them. Despite the advice from friends and family, who urged them to keep the babies, Jane and Mark made a heart-wrenching decision. They convinced themselves that they weren't ready to become parents. And so, they chose a path that would forever alter their lives. They decided to end the pregnancy. The hospital was just another place for them, but as the procedure began, something unusual happened. Strange occurrences began to unfold, flickering lights, unexplained noises, and a chilling feeling that something was terribly wrong. The procedure was difficult, much harder than anyone expected. The atmosphere in the hospital grew heavy with an eerie sense of dread. But in the end, the twins were removed, and Jane and Mark walked out, thinking they had left their troubles behind. Years passed, and Jane and Mark moved on with their lives. They graduated, found jobs, and eventually got married. It seemed like their lives were finally falling into place. The memory of the twins faded into the background, a shadow they chose to ignore. When Jane became pregnant again, this time, they were ready. They were overjoyed to learn they were expecting twins once more, two boys who would complete their family. But from the moment Jane conceived, something was different. The joy that should have filled their hearts was overshadowed by a creeping sense of fear. From the moment the twins were conceived, the nightmares began. Every night, Jane was haunted by visions of twin masquerades, faceless figures who chased her, flogged her, and bound her in darkness. Mark, too, was not spared, as similar dreams plagued his sleep. These were no ordinary dreams. They were vivid, terrifying, and relentless. Every morning, they awoke more exhausted than the night before, but they brushed it off, hoping it would pass once the babies were born. The day the twins were born should have been the happiest day of their lives. But as the cries of their newborns filled the room, a sense of dread took hold. The twins were healthy, but their cries never ceased. Day and night, they wailed, earning them the nickname, the Town Criers. Jane and Mark's lives became a living nightmare. The twins' cries were constant, and sleep became a distant memory. As the boys grew, their behavior became more unsettling. They destroyed everything in their path, cutting up clothes with scissors, and piercing their parents with needles while they slept. The couple was pushed to their breaking point. They were desperate, exhausted, and terrified. In a moment of weakness and despair, they did something unimaginable to their children, something that would bring the authorities to their door. When child support arrived, they found the twins calm and innocent, a stark contrast to the chaos Jane and Mark described. The authorities concluded that the couple had lost their minds and decided to take the children away. The twins were adopted by another family, far away from the town where they were born. In this new home, they thrived, growing up in peace and happiness. But for Jane and Mark, their lives were forever changed. The memory of their lost children haunted them, a constant reminder of the choice they had made long ago. Jane and Mark's story is a haunting reminder of the consequences of our choices. They believed that by ending their first pregnancy, they could escape the responsibilities they weren't ready for. But the past has a way of catching up with us, and sometimes, the consequences are more than we can bear. Abortion is not just a decision, it's a path that can lead to unimaginable sorrow. It's a choice that stays with you, in ways you may never expect. Remember, every choice has a consequence, and some choices can never be undone. If you found this story meaningful, please like, share,